I did see you there. Hello and welcome to Sophia's or Wheelz's post Appalachian Trail through hike gear explanation. I'm going to go through some of the things that I used for the entire trail, the things that I ditched, some controversial items. I'm not going to do this in any order, and I am in no way an expert. Thank you. All right, so the first thing, and probably the most important thing that I brought is this baby. She ultralight and she had no eyeballs.
Just kidding.
So to start off, I'll go over my big three, which is my pack, my sleeping system, and my tent, my shelter. So my pack, this is the ULA circuit. It was sturdy. It's not the lightest on the planet, but honestly, it did me really well. I had no issues with this olive trail. The only thing that I would have changed is I think I would get a funkier color. So my shelter is the Nemo Hornet 2-person. I kept the tent here, and then I kept my poles on the outside of my tent. It leaked like one time in Maine, and that was because I was literally in a puddle. But besides that, I would say 10 out of 10. I like that a lot. So this is the Enlightened Equipment Convert quilt, which has a little, it's actually unzipped right now, but it has a little foot box that you can cinch closed. It zips all the way up. I kept it zipped in the beginning. This is a 20 degree, which was fine by all the cold weather standards. Nothing that big of a deal. I will say, when I was in Pennsylvania, Enlightened Equipment sent me a free 30 degree quilt because I incessantly tag them in my photos, and they're awesome. So I did use a 30 degree quilt, but I switched it back once we got up north because it got cold again. And sleeping pad, so moving on from the big three. Sleeping pad, my Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite, like everybody in the world has. It worked pretty good. It got a leak at some point, but it wasn't bad enough that I had to get a new one, so it lasted me. The big flaw in this is that it makes a lot of noise when you sleep. My friend Patchwork said that very eloquently. When people are sleeping on these sleeping pads, it sounds like a balloon animal orgy, and I would say I agree with that. A little loud. Besides that, looks like a giant potato chip, but works great. All right, so this is my sleeping bag liner from Thermarest. I don't know which one it is. It's one of the ones that says it's supposed to add 15 degrees. I don't think it actually does. But so when I was in the cold section of the Smokies, I used this as a sleeping bag liner as intended. And then as it got hot, I started using this as my pillow. So I'd put all my clothes in here and then I'd sleep on it. Which, controversial. I didn't know anyone else who did that. It was kind of a lot of extra material, but it worked and it was comfy and it was better than the blow-up pillow. I did start with the blow-up pillow from Thermarest and I didn't like it, so I sent it home. Okay, now we're gonna go inside of my pack to see what I had in there. So the way that I did this during the day, here is my pump sack from Sea to Summit that is not intended for a Thermarest, but I used a knife and made it bigger so it would work. Would recommend a pump sack, my favorite thing, because that you don't have to blow anything up. I put my clothes in here during the day and I shoved this in, and then this bag had my electronics in there. I had my Anchor charger, which I think I had the 20,000 whatever. It was way too big. It's the size of my head. I have my first aid kit in here and all my charging cords. Oh, and the most important was my butt chafe butter. It's for diapers, but it works great for me. Here I have my Black Diamond headlamp, which I kept on the outside of my pack, and I used when I dilly-dallied too much and then had to do some night hiking. Worked great, loved it. Okay, so I'm gonna go into kind of what I was wearing. The clothes I was wearing was mostly for style at a certain point, but the layers were kind of important. So for rain, In the beginning, I did have rain pants, and I think literally every person on the planet eventually sends their rain pants home. I did, but I really liked having them when it was cold. It was an extra barrier. They're Marmot. They're actually my mom's, so I don't know anything else about them, but they're pretty good. They had pockets, whatever. My raincoat I don't have because I did have a Marmot raincoat that was really old, but it got a million holes in it after a while, and I don't think it was actually working. Then I got a Frog Togs, which did work really well, but it also was tissue paper, and it did rip, so those are both in the trash. As far as my puffy, I had a Montbell, I think it's like an X-Lite Anorak. I really like this. It gets to be really tiny, and it was super warm. It has a hood. I liked it a lot. Would use again. My fleece was a Melanzana hoodie, which made me feel very elite. And that also came with me the entire way. I did send my puffy home at some point, but got it back really quickly because I was scared of the cold. So the other thing for rain that I did was I did have this rain cover. It's for Osprey, when I had an Osprey pack. I really don't know if this worked at all. I have no idea, but it made me feel better. I think I developed a phobia of rain and being wet, which is ironic because the AT is so wet, but I did carry this the whole way. I don't really know if it did anything, but I did use it quite often. So as far as my base layer, these are Smart Wool. I think I got them at REI pants that I got a while ago. And then I used an Under Armour like top that I got for free at my old job. So this is what I slept in at night. Or if it was really, really cold during the day, I would wear it when I was hiking. But for the most part, I kept those dry in my bags. I didn't want to get cold and wet and therefore die. Okay, as far as footwear, I wore Darn Tough socks. These are mismatched. However, I carried 3 pairs of socks, which I think was overkill, but it worked well for me. Again, I really don't like wet feet, so that was what I did. So as far as shoes go, I started out in Ultra Lone Peak 4s, but as I talked about in my videos and you probably saw, I ended up getting some weird like shin pain that made my ankle swell up. In Franklin, I went to Outdoor 76 and they put me in Brooks Cascadias, which were amazing, and I wore them for the rest of the trail, and I will probably wear them for every other hike that I do for the rest of eternity. Also, the thing about Brooks was they're really awesome with their customer service. So I went through, I think, 6 pairs of shoes, and 2 of those pairs, they actually comped them for me because the mileage limit, I hadn't hit that yet. So that was awesome. These are the ones that I summited in. They were great. I got them in Stratton, Maine, so not that old yet. I did use my Lakey hiking poles that I got for free from my Thru Hike Syndicate ambassadorship that didn't turn out in 2020. Rest in peace, that hike. But they were really great. I actually left them in my trail family's car. So they're in Rochester, New York, but I'm gonna get them back because I'll be using them for the hikes that I'll do this summer. And then we're gonna get to 2 things that I sent home. So I actually didn't send a lot of stuff home on my hike besides like cold weather things. These are waterproof socks that my friend gave them to me. I don't know if they really work, and plus they're like kind of heavy, and your feet just get sweaty in them, and I didn't really feel like they were worth it, so I sent this home. And then here's the most controversial of all. In Virginia, I realized that I wasn't really cooking a lot and using my stove, so I decided to go try to do 2 full resupplies without any stove while I still had it, or anything that needed to be cooked. And then after that, I sent my stove and my cook set home. My trail family will let you know that I didn't eat very well on trail. It was kind of a running joke, so I would not recommend this for anyone. But I just didn't really like cooking. I don't like cooking in real life. I didn't like cooking on trail, so I ate a lot of snacks on trail, and tortillas and wraps and stuff. Wouldn't say it was a great idea, but it was fine. Okay, now the most important piece of gear, in my opinion, style-wise, functional-wise, is the Fanny Pack. I started out with my Cotopaxi, which I loved. It was very roomy. And then at some point, the zipper stopped working. This has lasted me a bunch of different hikes, though, so I would say Cotopaxi, 10 out of 10, loved them. Then I upgraded to my Light AF Fanny Pack, which is Dyneema, I think. So it is waterproof, which was awesome. And I put my little crystal patch on there. I kept snacks in here. I kept my phone in here. I kept headphones. What else did I keep in here? A lighter if I needed it. Anything that I would need right off the bat. Champ stink. And yeah, and I love it, and I will use it for everyday life as well. That is a brief recap of my Appalachian Trail gear. Thank you so much for watching, and maybe you'll see me hiking something else soon. I'm gonna do a different programming. Action. And I didn't cold soak, and I Rock! Oh my god! We're making a video. Yeah. Hi, Rocky.
You want to be in it? Oh, little cameo.
Can Rocky be in the vlog?
I mean, sure.
Let me talk to his manager.